We're at Berkshire Community College in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and we are conducting multiple sessions of Nero's Law training, which was introduced in the Commonwealth as a way to be able to allow EMS personnel to transport injured law enforcement canines.
Nero's Law was named after police canine Nero, who was injured in the line of duty in 2017. Unfortunately, his handler, Sergeant Sean Gannon, was killed in the line of duty during that incident. When Nero was injured, it brought up a lot of, or it highlighted a lot of deficiencies in the emergency transport system for police canines that are injured in the line of duty. So there were no laws in place that would allow a canine to be on an ambulance and transported to the next level of care, nor was there any official training program for EMS providers to provide life-saving pre-hospital care to our injured police canines in Massachusetts. Nero's Law was finally passed as a bill in 2022, and in the manner in which it was passed, its provisions state that all EMS providers licensed in the state of Massachusetts need to go through a 3-hour basic first responder training program that allows them to provide life-saving assessments and measures of dogs that are injured in the line of duty.
This has been a mandate that is put out by the Office of Forensic Medical Services, and there was not a funding stream to support the training that went along with the law. So the Western Mass Emergency Medical Services Committee, Deb Clapp and her group, came to the Homeland Security Council and requested funding for equipment to be able to provide the training. So the equipment involves some canine mannequins, some muzzles, some tourniquets, pretty similar to a patient care first aid kit that we would use on human patients as well. As a result of that grant process, we were able to also support putting some funding towards the training, which is occurring today. It's also being sponsored by the state of Massachusetts Animal Response Team, or the SMART team, through Dr. David Schwartz. And the Western Regional Homeland Security Advisory Council was unanimously in favor of supporting this training.
I've been in the U.S. Army Veterinary Corps for 17 years, so much of my experience teaching pre-hospital trauma care is related to the combat environment, but there's a lot of crossover in the principles that you would teach anyways. So I use that level of expertise to come and help a group of veterinarians and partner with the Office of Emergency Medical Services here in Massachusetts to establish a basic first responder training program for EMS providers in Massachusetts. Currently, as it stands, it's a 3-hour course. 1.5 hours is taken online through a video that goes through assessment, algorithms, how to do CPR, how to stop hemorrhage, and some of the other very basic emergency procedures you would need to do to help a canine injured in the line of duty. And then 1.5 hours is in an environment like this. We're teaching about 150 medics, firefighters, and EMTs, some of the life-saving procedures that we discussed in the video that they're required to watch and take before they come here.
In a situation where a handler and a dog are become injured, the handler is no longer able to help provide care for the dog, and the dog needs medical care. Now the EMS can go and service the dog, get the dog stabilized, get him safely to a hospital.
One of the things that we're learning here today is how to handle that animal in a safe manner, so that way we can put it on the stretcher and transport the animal and the handler.
Unfortunately, around here, we don't have any 24-hour clinics available. So it's even more important that the ambulance services are able to stabilize the dog and transport them to where they need to go to get proper care.
The assessment for the dogs has been really interesting. It's not that different than an adult assessment, but learning about that and how the dogs will go into shock and what that looks like and what that means for us is a really interesting component to this.
Because EMS and police have had a long time understanding of being first responders, knowing that they have the same passion that we have, especially if you're a canine handler, whether it's a comfort dog or detection dog, you know that they are just as passionate and want to save that animal as much as you want to. You also know that they're going to do everything they can to make sure that they get to where they have to go. I don't foresee there being any barriers. Many of the EMTs that are locally I've known my entire career. So I also have the ability to put trust in them.
Canine Diesel. It was originally developed for the U.S. Army, but it has a lot of functions that simulate trauma in the field. And what we're teaching here, as you can see, he is missing his hind limb, and so we're teaching how to provide hemorrhage control on a high hind limb amputation in this particular class. So that involves different use of a different type of tourniquet, but all of the same bandaging and hemorrhage control procedures and stuff that EMTs have already learned apply to this type of setting as well.
It's a critical element to supporting our law enforcement partners and their canine partners as well. It enhances our capabilities in the region, and it allows us to bring a level of service that we have not been able to provide before. And we're hoping that this will advance further to the advanced life support level. And then we are talking about some future opportunities to do some helicopter transport and other modes of transportation to be able to provide this life-saving care for canines that may be stabbed, shot, or injured during the course of their duties.